Anybody here? Anybody else here from Pleasant Valley?
No, I didn't see. Just Dan and you and me only.
Uh,
Tony, let me know when we are ready. And for those people that just came in, if you can just make sure that you are muted.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, it looks like we are live now. May start.
Very good. We are ready, Tony?
Ready to go.
All righty. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2021 Virtual Rodeo Workshop. I am Antonio Perez.
And I am Doug Smith.
We are coming to you live from Apple Valley Unified School District. I just want to start off by saying thank you to Apple Valley Unified, to Doug and to Doug's superiors for allowing us the use of this facility, of their buses, in order to be able to create this presentation for you guys. I'd like to welcome all of you that are in the Zoom meeting, as well as all of the people that are watching via YouTube Live. This is I never thought that I would be on YouTube Live, but hey, here we are. So before I pass this back on to Doug, I just want to go over a few rules. Just to make sure that, you know, this whole presentation goes well and smooth. So for sure, please keep your mics muted. If your mics are not muted, we do have the power to mute your mic. So keep your mics muted. Questions, if you have questions as we're going through this presentation, just go ahead and put them in the chat box. We don't plan on answering questions as the presentation is going on. We are going to review those questions at the end of the presentation, and then we will be able to jump back into any of the videos that we need to. So put your questions in the chat box, whether you're in the Zoom meeting or whether you are on YouTube Live. It should be active as well. This presentation is actually being recorded. Whenever it is on YouTube, it is actually creating a recording. So if for some reason this presentation is not as smooth for you, just go and keep in mind that once we finish this presentation, give us a couple days and we will be able to release this recording of it. So if it's not going smooth, it's becoming a pain, just don't worry about it. You will be able to go back and watch it. Of course, you have to think about the bandwidth. Of course, here at Apple Valley Unified, they have great bandwidth internet speed. So that's why on our side, everything is working perfectly smooth. There's no freezing. It's not choppy. So if you see it that your video is beginning to freeze, it's not like we're trying to break dance or pop. It could be that there is a problem with the internet on your side. So a couple things that you can do if you're in the Zoom meeting is you can just turn off your camera. So that might make it run a bit smoother, because the purpose is to watch this presentation, not to see everybody else that's on the camera. If you are on YouTube, I know on YouTube there is a setting on the right corner where you can change the quality of the video. I think that the best quality would be 720p, but if it's not running smooth for you, then just change it to 360p. If you get kicked out of this room, or if you lose connection with this room and you can't come back in because it's full, you can always just go back into the YouTube live version of it to be able to participate. If you're still having problems with your internet connection, then that just means you have to talk to everyone in your household and tell them to get off the internet, turn off their devices, because this is extremely important. Extremely important. So we are excited to be here. Right now I'm going to pass it on to Doug. Doug's going to make a couple introductions.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to introduce the team that does the rodeo when we were at state championships and at the southern and northern sectionals. I'm the rodeo chairperson, Doug Smith. Right next to me is the vice chair, Antonio Perez. Our past chair is John Kane, and I believe he's out there somewhere in the video land. If we can get John Kane. Are you there?
John, if you
right.
are here, you can unmute, turn on your camera, say
If
your
not,
name.
we'll move to the next one.
If not, we will move on to the next one.
I know
Yeah,
Barbara Hicks
I'm
is not
here.
here. She's off the alley.
Yes,
Is that
I'm
John?
here.
Oh, there's John. Good morning, John.
This is John Kane, past chairperson of the State Rodeo Committee. I've been on the State Rodeo Committee since 2006. Have been involved in school bus rodeo since 1993. I'm happy to be a part of this.
Well, thank you, John. Welcome and good to see you. I haven't seen you forever.
It's been a while.
It has. All right, we're going to move on now to Offset Alley, which is Barbara Hicks. Barbara Hicks, I know, is not in the chat, so we're not going to be able to go to her, but she is for Offset Alley. Left Turn, Debbie Barker, I know, again, is not in the chat. She sent me a message. She's sorry that she could not make it. We're going to go to our chairperson for Stop Dine Double Crossover, Sandy Dillman. I know she's there. Sandy, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to see everyone. I've been involved in CASTO since 1990-ish, and I've been involved in rodeo since my first rodeo was 1988. And I've been involved in the rodeo committee since 2011-12. And I know that those of you that have been doing rodeo, our last in-person rodeo, I said goodbye, but I chose to stay. So I'm living in Texas, retired, and but I'm still on the rodeo committee and look forward to finally getting back to in-person. But this is amazing. So welcome everybody, and let's have a great season.
Thank you, Sandy. And you were 12 at that first rodeo, correct?
Yes, thank you, Doug.
Welcome. Sorry, I digressed. Okay, for Right Turn, we have Jay Patton. I'm not sure if Jay is in the stream here anywhere. Jay Patton available. He's our Right Turn coordinator. I haven't seen him. I'm looking around.
I can see his name.
All right, Jay is not there. We'll move on. We have backup stall, which is Cindy Zuartez, and I always butcher the last name, but is Cindy available?
You did pretty good there, Doug Swarchez.
Hey, thank you.
You did pretty good. I'm Cindy Swarchez. I am director of Francis Parker School. I've been in transportation for 29 years, involved in rodeo for probably about 15 years. First started as a competitor, then I decided to go more for the judging portion and have been judging for probably at least 10 years. Been a couple times to the Special Needs Nationals. We won second place the last time we went as a team. And I'm very excited to get in-person rodeo back and get this back going. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, next up is going to be our parallel parking consultant, and that's going to be Jennifer Hanshoe. Good morning, Jennifer. I know you're out there somewhere. I've seen you.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see everyone and be here on the rodeo committee. Yes, parallel parking. I am replacing Miss Karen Whittington, which she was the parallel parking for many years. We are going to miss seeing her there. And I'm honored to be in her shoes now. I've been part of rodeo since 1996 as a contestant firstly. Been to many rodeos, Northern, Southern, and judging. So I'm excited to be here and see everybody in person again soon.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. All right. And then last but not least, we're moving on to student loading and unloading, Jennifer Moran. And I think I've seen Jennifer out there.
Yes, good morning. It is excellent.
Good morning.
Everybody here. I started out as well, I believe about 2011, 2012 competing, volunteered for several years and am pleased to be able to help coordinate the student loading and unloading event. Just happy to see everybody here. Looking forward to that in-face and in-person contact and actual competitions beginning.
Amen. Thank you so much. All right. Our registrar and comptroller is Christina Celeste. I don't know if Christina's on. She's also on the state board. So Christina, are you available?
She is not here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Our state scorer is Jana Graham. I know that Jana is not on. She has the prior commitment, so she's not on out on the web there with us. So she is our state scorer. It's a new position that we have placed on our committee. And then our start line coordinator, Kevin Selstrom. Is Kevin available?
Good morning, Doug. Good morning, everybody.
Hey, good morning.
Try to get the glare out. This is Kevin Selstrom. I've been competing and supporting rodeo for 21 years, and really looking forward to getting back out on the grounds, back out on the road, and seeing people face to face. So thanks everyone for coming out this morning.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, now we're going to introduce our CASTO State Board. I think I'm going to start at the top since Matt Thomas was there. Matt Thomas, I know you're out there. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir, please.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. I am so happy this event is going on. And I will say I first competed in a rodeo in 1999. And I'm sorry to say I never did really well. But I guess more practice would have made perfect. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy supporting rodeo. That's where I have been many, many years, is on the sidelines here in the Orange County Chapter 2 Rodeo. And then, of course, Southern Sectional. And now being on the state board the last 3 years, I guess. Yeah, this is my 4th year because I was the second vice president and then first vice president for 2 years. And supporting rodeo is big for me. And I will just say, as I'm sure every single person on here, I cannot wait to get back to in person and go out there and have fun and support everybody. So thank you, welcome everybody. And I am happy to be the state president right after Tony Peregrina. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Our state first vice president, Mike Sawyer, I believe he's on there. He is the kind of the guru of this game of internet stuff. Mike, are you out there? No mics? Maybe not. All right. So if Mike shows up, we'll talk to him in the end. Our second state vice president, Carrie Gardner, are you there? All right, second vice, Gary Gardner, going once, going twice, gone. All right, our state immediate past president, Tony Peregrina.
Good morning, everyone. I have three computers going at the same time, so it's kind of, I'm not good at multitasking, to tell you the truth.
Amen.
All right. So, yeah, good morning. My name is Tony Peregrina. I'm the immediate past president. Been competing in rodeo for many, many years. I got an opportunity to get my butt kicked by the two guys that are presenting today and most of the people that are on the committee itself. But, I was successful with a lot of luck and a whole lot of practice and getting involved and it's been amazing. Rodeo is kind of like at the top of the list of things that I will always support, and I'm glad to see that there is at this point in time 171 participants on Zoom, and we've got 45 on YouTube Live. First time we do this, really excited, and hopefully you guys will get an opportunity to get all kinds of tricks of the trade that these champions are going to get to teach you. So thank you so much, and enjoy the show.
Thanks, Tony. All right, our State Secretary, Amanda Heitman, are you on the channel here today? I don't see Amanda. All right, and I know Christina's not available. She's our State Treasurer, and our State Professional Associate Rep, Angeles Valerio. Are you available? All right, well, that looks like our state board has been introduced now. All right, so next up is, let's get ready to rodeo.
Not just yet.
Okay.
One final thing. So again, welcome to how to successfully perform each of the 7 rodeo events. I know Tony said that we were going to be revealing some secrets, but that is not true. We will not be revealing secrets today. We are here to tell you, to show you how you can do each of the events. So we are going to be talking about, both of us, we'll be showing you the video, and we're just going to be telling you what each one of us was actually thinking, what we were doing, why we were doing it, so that we could be able to go through the events and so that we could be able to score points and get fewer demerits.
Yes.
And on the website, I don't know if you actually printed this out, but you don't have to have it with you, but we did create this nice little information booklet. So you can always go back to the website today, next week, you can get your instructor, you can get your director to print it out for you. It doesn't have to be in color. It looks nicer in color, but black and white is fine. In this booklet, we have, of course, the names of all the rodeo committee members, names of the state board members. We have the purpose, objective, glossary of terms, as well as all of the score sheets. So if you were to print this out, you would actually have all the score sheets right now, so you can start to prepare, so that you can start to think about next year's rodeo, because I know it's going to be great. We haven't done it for 2 years. So that's what else we have there. And we just want you to know that each of you can be successful at the rodeo. And this could be the first of many virtual training events that we give on rodeo. So if you do like these, of course, please let CASTO know. Please let your local chapter know. Please let the state board know. One of the reasons why I put the purpose, objective, glossary of terms in there is just to remind you that 5 or 6 of the events come from the behind the wheel guide. So this is everything that you have gone through when you first became a school bus driver. All right. Do you want to do this one here?
Sure. No. Oh yeah. All right. So before we begin, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to take a moment of silence in honor of those that have lost their lives during this pandemic. The over 60,000 people that have lost their lives in California. COVID-19 has really messed all of us up, and I'm glad to see that we're all starting to come back. We're gaining ground again, and next year's rodeos, I want to see 300 competitors that are the same people that are on this webinar. These deaths can include some of our own family and some of our family members and some of our relatives and friends and co-workers and our neighbors. So if we can just have a moment, we'll just bow our heads and think about those people for just a minute here, please. All right. All right. So again, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rodeo.
All right, all right, all right. Once again, make sure that your mics are muted. We do not want to have to go through the list and find who is not muted. So
we're gonna
very
begin.
well. So we will begin now.
With elementary student loading, correct?
Elementary student loading. If you have your booklet with you, it would be the first event. So here we go. All right, can everybody see that screen? Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yay.
Yes.
All right, so
Don't
elementary
answer.
student loading, here we go. Now this was filmed on a very windy day, so you know, just don't mind the dust and the dirt. It's Apple Valley, for goodness sake. All right, so here we go. As we approach, we have our amber lights turned on 200 feet before and our turn signal turned on 100 feet before. Right here, as I'm pulling in, what I do is I kind of start leaning in a little bit right there, and then by the time that back wheel gets to there, I fully lock. I'm missing it by only a foot or so. Slow and smooth, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you do rodeo. Slow and smooth, and practice, practice, practice. Remember, if your tire touches anything or your bus touches anything, you're disqualified. So I'm running the tire right along the edge. I'm using the cross view mirror as my mirror of reference to the line versus the bus. Right about there, I start using the door handle that's on the vehicle. And you use every ounce of room that you have. Pull as far forward as you possibly can and still get out. I'm going to hold up for just a second. Right here, what I've used is the steering wheel. I'm using that as my marker to how far or how close I am to the front of the barriers. We're going to cancel our ambers. Got to cancel them and then immediately activate our reds. Turning off our turn signal. As you exit the vehicle, it's the same as in the behind the wheel guide. You're going to stop and check your pathway to make sure it's safe for you to exit. You're going to walk out 12 feet because you're getting out of the danger zone, looking at my reds, and I always point at them so the judge knows that I did, looking both ways before I move into traffic, and then at a 45-degree angle, you move to the center of the roadway, turning and facing your children as they pass by. You follow them back in, looking under, looking at your pathway again, and looking at your rear tire. And you're saying that as you're doing this event. You want to be talking to the judge so he knows or she knows what you're doing. After I sit in the seat, again, making sure I'm secured, all my children are in their seats, and I'm saying all that. Making sure they're in their seats, checking my mirrors to make sure that they're I'm checking, doing a full and complete mirror check. And we do the ha and haya method where we're looking at our mirrors, we're pointing at them too. And then proceed when it's safe to do so, watching your tail swing. Here's a view from the inside of the vehicle. As I'm approaching my student, I'm making sure that I'm staying nice and tight to the barrier. If you're looking in the cross view mirror, I can see what's called pie-shaped, where the line and the bus look like a pie. Look at the slow, smooth pace. You got to really keep this one slow and smooth.
Yeah, and there is no time limit on this event. So you're going to see some judges on the right side. You know, it may look like they are in a rush, but you still want to take your time.
There's plenty of time on all the events. And as you roll in, again, once I come to a complete stop, I lean out my window and I tell the student to wait right there, just like you would in the morning. You want this, as you're doing rodeo, you want it in a real life situation. Again, I use the steering wheel of the bus on the bottom of the barriers to verify the distance that I have to pull out. And it takes practice to get that down to a science. You're going to see me exit out the vehicle. And again, you tell the judge you're going at a 45-degree angle. I didn't go at a 45-degree angle so I could stay in frame. But usually I would do a little more of an angle at that and go a little further out. You want to go between the judge and the bus, or the student and the bus, depending on the distance. Again, look, look, look. Yeah, we have a pause.
No. No, we
I
actually
know.
have the camera mounted right there on the dash, so that's why you did not see Doug or the students walk by. They walked behind it. So Doug's getting ready to move the bus.
I'm doing all my mirror checks, and again, I use my hands as a way of pointing at my mirrors. I also use my hands as a way of pointing at my turn signals. I just want to make sure the judge sees that I'm doing that mirror check.
It does take time, so take your time, breathe in, breathe out.
All right, on approach, I activate my ambers 200 feet, my turn signals 100 feet. There's my mirror check. And judge, I make sure that I'm pointing at the judge and they can see me do that. Okay, here's the switches. The amber's turned on. I'm looking at my amber switch. My turn signal's on. Looking at my turn signals. Making sure everything is correct. And that's student escort.
Yeah, so once again, there is no time limit on it. So you do want to take your time. You do want to make sure that you are moving your head, that you are looking around. Look for the student to see where they're at. As Doug was pulling in, you know, from the view from the inside, you could see the stanchion, the stand right there. Don't let that be a limit. You know, just like Doug said, you want to go 12 feet out. You want to go 45 degree angle. Do it the same way that you were trained. Do it the way that you saw it here. If you're not doing it the way that you saw it here, then yeah, that's something that you do need to change. But don't think that you have to stay in between the front of the bus and that barrier. I've walked many times past the barrier. There is no way for you to lose points.
Okay. And remember, you also want to make sure you're within 12 inches. So it takes a lot of practice, a lot of determination to get that down to a science.
That is the goal. Again, keep your microphone muted. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box because we do not have time to answer a question. All right, let me share this again.
We're going on to left turn now. I'd like to have everybody notice our left turn. All right, the turns are one of the things that really hurts a lot of people's points, and it's most of the time it hurts their points because they don't understand the basics. Each one of these plates that's on the ground, that yellow line, that yellow part of that plate, you need to take your wheels through. If you miss that first plate, if you miss the first one, you will not be able to recover and get the second one. Each plate going right through yellow is worth 25 points. I never, ever miss that first plate. I always get my 25, my guaranteed 25, and then pray that I can get the other side. Just kidding on that. I'm pretty good at it. Just kidding.
Yeah, so you're going to see different views, you know, inside, outside, left side, right side.
All right, so as you approach, your turn signal's on. Again, I've done my mirror check for left turn, right turn, parallel park, and student escort. You have to do a mirror check. I've done my mirror check. I'm going slow and smooth. As the rear tire intersects the plate, right there, your time starts, and it is 15 seconds. Now, we didn't time it. We just wanted to go by accuracy, but normally I would accelerate. Once I turned to the full lock to the left, I would accelerate, slow down right there, and then accelerate through, get my 50. All right, the inside, the next view is the inside. Now, if you notice, right on the right here, there is a line that's going right through the dash, that little channel right there in the dash. Now, each bus has things that you can line up. This bus lines that rope up right on that dash, and then it lines it up so that it comes right through the cross view mirror. Then I go into the convex mirror and line it up on the side of the bus, and then into the flat mirror and watch it come through. I'm going to pull it over to the left or to the outside there a little bit. There, I got the plate. As I full lock, I'm full locked to the left. All right, so here's a second view of it. Looking back from the outside. Again, the distance never changes on your alignment. When you're aligning your vehicle to the right, to the left side for a left turn, the distance in between here is the same at every rodeo. So if you get a point of reference that lines that thing up, you will never miss your first alignment plate.
Right. And if you can just keep in mind that you do have to continue to watch your left flat mirror. You can judge distance only with your left flat mirror. Don't use your convex mirror because you know that's going to be distorted. So you are looking at the plane of the vehicle, at the side of the vehicle, and the ground reference there. And your goal is to keep them parallel, but also paying attention to where your plate is, because you do want to go through it. And your front half of the bus does not have to go through it, but it does make it easier if your front half of the bus goes through it. You probably saw in the first video that, you know, maybe it looked like the front was slightly off, but there's still time for you to make those corrections. And that's why you do have to constantly monitor the correct mirrors.
Again, there's a turn point, and it's turn point comprehension. Same thing as you use out of the behind the wheel guide, your turn point comprehension. You find your ground reference, you found your turn point, and then you make a full lock to the left and then take it straight through the plate.
Yeah. So when you practice, you can take your time practicing, go slow. It may take you 20, 30 seconds, but at least get that down.
Again, here's the inside view. Here comes my mirror check. Passenger, cross views, back, right, and over to the left again. Keeping both hands on the steering wheel, of which I have a tendency not to do.
But that's just because he is a champion. So we will...
we'll let him slide.
Okay. Exactly.
We'll let him slide today. I'm finding my plate. I'm looking in the flat mirror, finding it, making it running right along the side of the bus, making sure I get that first plate.
Right. See, if you saw his hands weren't perfectly still. He was watching. He was making fine-tuning adjustments.
Full lock. Gas pedal. I give it a little acceleration. Counter steer. Slow down. Find the plate. And accelerate through.
And then he's done, sets the parking brake, honks the horn to let everybody know that he's done. Maybe one more view, I believe.
Yep, last view. This is going to show the plate and how I'm looking for it out the left side mirror or out the left side window. I'm looking for that plate on the ground. Once I get past the first plate, once I get that wheel through it, now I'm looking up. I find my ground reference. I find my turn point. Right.
Yeah. So we did slow this down, and I'll pause it right here. You know when to make a turn when your turning point intersects with the ground reference imaginary line. So Doug is looking for his turning point. I was doing the same thing, you know, turn my head to the left, find the plate, find my turning point, and I just have to stick with that. Once I know that I have the correct turning point, that's what I'm going to do every time. And this is not just for rodeo. This is what you use out there on the street, your turning point. Keep the bus parallel, turn left, keep the bus parallel, turn right, out there on the street. He's looking for his turning point. We did slow it down a little bit. It's not going to be the whole entire thing, but this is just to show you he was looking directly at the plate, finding his turning point. Once it got there, intersected, bam, he started his full walk left.
And I do that on the road too. When I drive a bus, I do the exact same thing every single time.
You did see it in the cross view mirror. You'll see it a little bit in the convex, and then in the flat mirror, it'll pop up. You see it right there already towards the top of the mirror.
And your time stops when you go through the recovery plate. Oh, there's our mascot, Bob. Bob was driving that bus on that one.
Very, very good. Doug mentioned that he had, whenever he was beginning to enter that left turn or set up for that left turn, he actually used that little corner of the dash. I did not use that. I didn't even think about that. I was not as smart as Doug, I actually was just looking through the windshield and I'm like, okay, I see the ground reference. I see the plate. I need to be a certain distance away. So Doug may say some things. I may say some things. This is what worked for both of us.
Right.
It doesn't mean, hey, you need to do the same exact thing. Tony probably did something different. John Kane did something different. All of the other state champions might have done something different. But we are showing you what we do. I was just looking through the windshield, finding it, trying to get to the correct distance. At least I knew that once my front corner went through it, I just had to find it in the convex mirror and then the flat mirror and make those little adjustments.
Now, a couple of things I want to also mention on the same thing. You have to have your mirrors adjusted the same every time. If your mirrors are different every single time you do this, so will your turn points and your ground references and all the other things that you're using. If your mirrors aren't the same, it's going to be different every time you try. Same with your seat. You want to try and have your seat adjusted to the same spot every single time. And the most important thing I can tell you guys, the way to win and the way to do this and be good at it, because rodeo makes good drivers better. It makes great drivers amazing. But the only way it works is practice. I put thousands of hours of practice in, and I don't mean you guys have to, but practice is what makes a driver better. And as a driver, the only thing I want to do is be better for the safety of my children.
Right.
Right.
When you start to practice, I don't know if you may have seen some other videos out there. How you turn the steering wheel makes the difference. If you turn it slow the first time and then you turn it fast, the next time, that's going to change the outcome.
Right.
So for rodeo, you do want to keep everything the same. Like Doug said, the seat, the mirrors, the points that you use on the bus, the way that you turn the steering wheel, the speed of the bus, going smooth, nice and slow, or maybe towards the end, giving it that little, speed, by pressing the throttle pedal, everything has to be the same for rodeo. And I'll say this right now, just because you're getting better and better with rodeo, it doesn't mean that you want to try some of these maneuvers out there on the road.
Agreed.
Don't squeeze in between cars. Don't squeeze in between signs just because you were successful in rodeo. That's not what we want to do out there on the street. Out there on the street, you have to make those other types of adjustments. You may not have to full walk left or full walk right, but for sure, you have to watch all of your mirrors. Okay? So our next event, Doug,
is backup stall. This is the equalizer of everybody. Backup stall is the hardest thing there is to figure out and the hardest thing there is to make perfect. It has so many tiny components to it, keeping the vehicle straight, keeping the vehicle in between the lines. It has a time limit. It has a 2-minute time limit from the time your front bumper crosses the first upright barrier. But again, you've got plenty of time to keep it slow and smooth. Learn what you're doing, practice it, and keep slow and smooth.
So what you probably see here that there's ropes actually coming out on this side. You won't have those ropes.
Yeah, those ropes are the ropes are designed, and you will be able to drive over those ropes. If it's a shorter bus, the shorter bus we move the barriers. We move that set of barriers up as each size bus comes and changes. I set that up as a normal rodeo event for backup stall to make sure that we get it. Now on this backup stall, I'm not looking to the left side right now. I'm looking to the right side because I'm looking to see if I have about a foot between my bus and the barrier on the right side. If you have more than 2 feet of distance between the bus and the barrier, take a pull up because you're going to hit. And I'd rather take a pull up and lose 6 points than hit the barrier.
Right. That is one thing about doing the rodeo. The more that you do it, the better you get. But it also teaches you what mirrors do you have to focus on more. I mean, Doug was saying he was watching the right side first, but then I'm sure at one point he did turn to watch the left. That is one thing about rodeo. We want you to learn to figure out, okay, what mirror is the one that you need to be watching. So Doug's watching what right now?
I'm watching my left mirror. I'm keeping my bus within 1 foot of the left side of the rope on the left side. I've now got myself figured out where I'm 1 foot away. As I pull in, my last move is to adjust to make sure that I'm parallel because I want the bus to be nice and straight in there. Okay, watching your time limit. Again, it's 2 minutes.
And that's a view of the center because you will be measured from the center.
There's a line on the ground right there. As you're measured, they measure dead center of your vehicle. I'm off by about 1 inch, it looks like, to the center of my bus. Maybe a little more. All right, as we see this next view, this is looking to the side. Again, your time starts when the barrier, go ahead, hits the front bumper. Now I full stop. One of the things I see at rodeo is drivers don't make a full complete stop. You have to figure out where you're at before you make your hard lock to the left. If you're moving, you cannot hit the same spot every single time. And that's one of the things that I pride myself in is I could hit the exact same spot. I use a point of reference inside my bus, which is right about here on the door along this line. I've got a point of reference inside the bus that when I reach there, I stop.
Right.
Then I full lock.
Right. So that is one of the things that I have noticed, you know, when I do observe other people competing, is I think they're so worried on the 2-minute time limit that they just want to go. It's like they get to that front stand and they don't stop, like Doug said. If you don't stop, that is going to change the whole entire outcome. It may work, you may get lucky, but if you do it again, it might be slightly different. So keep in mind that what you learned when you were first being trained is it was called precision backing maneuvers or precision turning maneuvers. So for you to be precise, for you to be to do it the very best way, there are going to be times where you do need to stop. And that's also another time, a good opportunity for you to take a deep breath in, full lock left. Doug was saying he uses, what part do you use, Doug?
I use the back side of the door.
Back side of the door.
To a specific, there's a point on there's a screw on the back side of this door that when it lines up with the rope at a specific point is where I stop.
Right. Doug's point is good, but of course, we all come in different shapes and sizes, right?
Amen.
It may not work for me. So I actually had to use a point on the tire. I was fine anywhere between the rim, whether it's at the front of the rim, whether it's at the center of the rim, whether it's at the back of the rim. But there was one drawback to that. I could only see that tire, front tire, with my convex mirror. And we know that with the convex mirror, you can't judge the distance. So that's why I had at least, how wide are those rims? 1 foot and a half. I gave myself that little space. That's what I had to do. This was the hardest maneuver for me to do. I was fine with scoring 35 to 40 points. If I got lucky and did everything right, I got a perfect 50, but I was fine. I just wanted to get points.
Yep.
I didn't mind if I was off center. I just wanted to get points. I wanted to get in on one shot.
And that I prided myself. I could pretty much hit it one shot every single time. Again, when I pull out to the edge of the rope there on the front to the limit line, I stop, I full lock to the right. I'm looking in the right mirror and I'm looking for this distance right here between the bus and this backup stanchion right there. I'm looking in my mirror right now. Now I go, after I notice how my distance is there, now I go to the left side and I see myself coming right straight in. I can tell that distance. If you have more than a foot, you're gonna hit it.
When you practice at your facility, stop and look.
Yep.
Stop and see what it looks like from the back. You'll see that the right side is closer to the pole. The left side is still far away. Stop and look, put that into your mind.
And I'm in the left mirror now, constant. I'm solid in the left mirror, watching and adjusting to make sure that I'm staying a foot away. I'm trying my best to keep the plane of the vehicle parallel to the line on the rope line, and slow and smooth, backing straight in. I do my final correction right about there.
So Doug is looking, we do need to be looking at the flag height.
Yes, we do.
Right. So right now, what we want you to think about is, as you're going in, once you got it in, you need to also take a few seconds, take a few moments on either the left side or the right side to find the flag, to figure out
right there
which one looks better to you. Is it the left one? I think it is easier on the left side because you're right there by that mirror. But there have been times when I've had to focus on the right side because I could see the flag a bit better on the right side. Now, right now we have those flags pretty much, I believe, all the way down, but they are adjustable. It is up to the head judge that day, head coordinator that day, to figure out, okay, I'm going to put them up at this height, at that height, at that height. And there's a range,
It's 3.5 feet to 5 feet is what that flag can be set at. 3.5 to 5 feet is the standards that they can go anywhere in between.
Right. And just so you know, when we put this video together, we didn't cheat. We didn't have to take 17 takes to get it just right. Doug, being the great champion that he is, he actually got it on the first shot. Sure, I had to move a camera here, move a camera there, but he did get it on the first shot. So that just shows like how much time he spent practicing. He knows what to look at. He knows what he needs to do. He is in the free zone right now.
Now remember, in the free zone, it's hard to get there, but when you find a way to do it and you get your bus in the free zone, that's what we're all shooting for. But more importantly, getting points. Finding a point of reference to make the turn slow, smooth, making sure that you watch your time limit. You have plenty of time to get in, adjust, and then make one more move. Set your parking brake, sound your horn so the judge knows you're done and stops your time.
Right. If you do need to take that extra pull-up, it's really no big deal.
6 points.
We don't think less of you for doing that. We actually think that you're smarter, because you're like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to hit, so I'd rather stop and be careful, pull up, and then go back in again.
All right. I align myself about a foot off the barriers when I do it. I don't know, Antonio. You the same?
I aimed for 6 inches away, and it was only because I could not get that precise point like Doug. I had a little range for me. That's why I was closer, 6 inches away for me. Don't worry about the tail swing. The tail swing is way back there.
On the conventionals, it gets a little different.
Yes.
If you're driving a conventionals, this stuff won't work for you. But on the transit style vehicles, I pull up, keeping it about a foot away. I'm looking out the door here. When the rope line on the ground right there lines up with my door right here, I stop. Full lock left, and then I proceed. I keep it fully locked, and I'm looking at the convex mirror. I'm looking out the window at the convex mirror, and I'm going to take the wheel right up, and you'll see a view of that in a minute here.
Right. So you look through the windshield first because it is far up there, but then as you get closer, you need to focus on that mirror.
And here's another view. It's going to show you the view out the window. I find my point, full lock. Notice that I stay hard locked, and then I take that little extra that your steering wheel will give you a little bit more as you make your turn, slow and smooth. I'm looking right here.
You could see it through the windshield first. You could see it through the driver's windows first, and then you start to look for it.
I don't go any further than the tread of the wheel on the line, because if you go any deeper than that, when you full lock the other direction, your front wheel will touch the line.
Here's what I did. I used this little tire guard right here. I would put that tire guard at that rope right there. I figured out that, okay, for me, at my height, with my seat position, with me starting off at 6 inches away, and with me practicing, I would go up there, put that front tire guard at that rope, I would step out, I would take a look at it, I would see, okay, yeah, I have like 6 inches of space, or whatever it was. One thing that you want to keep in mind too is that there have been times that I've seen when you full lock right, or is it left? Right for this.
Right.
As you're turning it, your tire may touch the rope. So you don't want to be too close when you stop, because as it's turning, whichever way it's turning, you could touch the rope. And if a judge is closely watching it, they'll say, bam, flag up. No, I'm just kidding.
As a judge, when I see that rope, if it moves even slightly, you touched it.
Correct. So don't try to be 100% perfect. Yeah, we want you to do the best, but sometimes when you go for perfect every time, that's when you lose all your points, because you were going for that.
So there I was in the back in that left mirror watching it. Now I'm going to be running myself parallel. I'm going to keep myself parallel, and about 1 foot away, I try to touch that, bring that back end over. I'm bringing the back end over right now. It's getting closer. There's about a foot right there, nice and slow and smooth. And then the last second, you correct the front end to bring it nice and parallel. Once you're in, you find your point of reference. And in this, I was using the flag, and I've got points of reference on the back of the bus that for flag heights, I use actually points of reference for flag height. And we'll show you that in one of the next segments.
Mirrors will help you do everything. Your eyes, looking through the windshield, looking through the driver's window, looking through the windows on the door, and using all of your mirrors, which is what we do when we are driving out there on the street.
If you guys look, the flag height is measuring up on the rub rails, or sometimes if you'll use the stop sign, you'll use you just use points of reference on the side of the bus. Remember, you can't mark your bus. If I find a mark on your bus or a spot on your bus, you're a disqualification. You can't mark the bus, but you can have points of reference on the bus as the points that you use to adjust and make this work.
That's the view from the left side. Again, you may have to look at the right side. So I believe we have a view of the right side.
I think we do. But the most important thing I found is making sure I'm nice and parallel. I try my best to stay parallel. There's a view out of the right side. And then again, there's your the flag height along the rub rail or along the fenderette or along any of the rivets that you can see.
Thank you.
All right.
So just like Doug said, this is a 2-minute time limit. The time starts when?
The time starts when your front bumper intersects the first upright barrier.
You could stop right there before it. Take a deep breath.
Look at the points of reference look at the flag heights, look at the points of reference, look at everything on the ground.
Right. You may have judges saying, come on, come on, come on, come on. But hey, just, take a deep breath. I always did that. I stopped. I stopped before it, took a deep breath, looked at the whole stall there, looked at the rope, put it back in my mind. Okay, this is my first step. I want to stop my front tire at this front pole.
Yep.
And then take your time. It is nerve-wracking. We know it's nerve-wracking. I know my heart is pounding super fast, every time I compete, even towards the end. I still got nervous, but I would always tell people, turn that nervousness into excitement.
Right.
Tell yourself that you are excited to compete in a rodeo competition with some of your coworkers, and then of course with many other drivers from many other districts or charter companies, private companies across the state. It is a fantastic experience.
This is a networking. You have people from all over California, Northern California, especially at the state championships, the Northern California and Southern California rivalry that we get. I know people from all over the state from rodeo. It is a network of family is what this is. It's good people in rodeo. We'd love to have everybody, every single one of you. I'd love to have you all join.
Right. It has been 2 years. So we are excited. I'm glad to see that there are many people here that seem to be excited with what rodeo is. Our next event is
parallel parking. Parallel parking seems to be everybody's hardest task. It is very difficult, but not impossible. It takes time of practice and slow and smooth. All right, so there my turn signal's on. I'm doing my mirror check. If you can see my hands moving, I want to make sure the judge can too, and I point at my right turn signal, making sure that it's on. I pointed at my right turn signal because I lost points for not having my right turn signal on, so I found a way that I can make sure it's on. As I approach, I'm staying about 1 foot off the barriers and parallel, nice and parallel, slow and smooth. And I stop when my rear tire intersects that back barrier, full lock to the right. As it comes around, I'm looking for the inside barrier, the upright of the inside of the back barrier in my mirror, and it's wide alongside that bus. I stop again, full lock left. I bring it in nice and tight, about an inch or about a foot, foot and a half from the front barrier. Counter steer to the center. And here's where you can make your mind up. Do you want to be closer to the line or further from the line? Right here, I needed to be closer to the line, so I turned a little to the right. As I'm coming in, when that front barrier passes the very nose of the bus, I full lock to the left. I'm looking in the mirror, watching my wheel. The bulge of the tire is what I use. Now, I don't look to the back for my distance of the bus. I know that I have a bus plus 6 feet. I look to the front. I look at that front barrier. I pull forward. You have 2 backups and 2 pull forwards. Full lock to the left again. Pull it into the tight, nice and tight, slow and smooth. Watching the bulge of that tire. I keep the bulge of that tire on the line. Counter steer to the front. And I use all of the space that I have up in front, gently bringing myself up. And I use the rub rail, or excuse me, the little fender guard on my bus, aligned up with the line in my mirror to get myself within 1 inch. On the exit, I back straight up, the full lock to the right. Again, still using the front. I do not look back. I look front. I know that I got 6 feet. I take my pull forward. I stop. I always take 2. I full lock right. I don't ever play with Sasquatch and try and get it out in 1. I always take 2. Full lock left. And we're out. Turn signal on. Mirror check was done.
Yeah, and see, I do the same thing. I just focus on the front. You know, I can see the stand up front. I know that there's the length of the bus plus 6 feet. If I need to back up, I'm just going to back up 4 or 5 feet from the front, and I know I'm not going to hit the back.
Yep, me also. That's exactly what I do. I focus on the front distance, because if you try to look back, it's 40 feet away. There's no way you can tell your distance. Again, this front view, it just shows the movement of the bus. It's going to show right here as I'm pulling straight forward. I'm going to stop the vehicle when it gets the rear tire intersects the front barrier. And I try to get it as centered on that as I can possibly get it. And you'll see a view of that in a minute. I full lock to the right. You're going to watch the vehicle come around, full lock to the right. I make full stops. Remember, there is a time limit on this one also. It's 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Time starts when your front bumper intersects that first barrier. Full lock to the left. Center it. I'm looking back there and I'm trying to decide if I want to be closer to the line or further. If I want to be closer, I give it some right. If I want to be further, I give it a little bit of left. I adjust that back tire. Remember, you steer the front, but you drive the back. As I come to the barrier, I full lock. As I get right here to the front barrier, as soon as the front bumper crests, I'm full lock to the left. I take my pull forward. I'm going to turn it. I stop when I'm right up against it. I hard lock left again. Looking at the front, I'm looking at this distance between the front of the bus and that barricade. That's my distance. I know that I have 6 feet. I use 5 of them.
2 free backups.
And 2 free pull forwards.
Yeah. So don't force yourself to try to get it in on one shot. Hey, you may get lucky at one point. I think one time I got lucky, but it could have just been because it wasn't set up right.
I take my 2 every single time. I've never done a 1 in my career of doing rodeo. I've never done a single. I always take 2. I do it the exact same. See my turn signal?
Doing the 5 count mirror check first.
And my turn signal. Again, you're gonna see that the back tire lines up exactly to the center of this barricade right here. I try to put that rear tire dead center of it. And I practice that in pieces right there. Dead center, full lock to the right.
And that's my goal too, to do that every time.
Hit the
but
same point.
If I passed it a little bit forward or stopped short of it, I was fine with it, because again, my goal was to get points. I wasn't shooting
for 50
or maybe way back there in the back of my mind I was shooting for 50, but I'm happy with 47. I'm happy with 44.
Yep. Okay, right there I've hard locked it the other direction, pulled it up to about 1.5 feet, and right here is where you make your adjustments. You can get closer. If you need your wheels to get closer, you turn it to the right. If you need them to be further, you turn it to the left. We're backing in. There, the front bumper. I'm bringing it in now, full lock. Now I watch the bulge of this tire, trying to get it as close as I can. Watching the bulge of that tire.
Full lock
Full
right.
lock right. Using every inch. I use everything I have up front here. I try to bring it as tight as I can.
Then you full lock left.
Then I full lock left.
And then move. Don't move while you're turning because you are losing space.
All right, looking at the distance. There we go. Full lock right again, or yeah, full lock right. Bring it in nice and tight. You have plenty of time. Right now I'm looking at I'm trying to get this as close to that line as I can. I'm trying to get that little fenderette / mud guard as close to the line as I can. And that's kind of my measurement of my 3 inches away of the bus. There's the distance that I try and keep. Myself, I use about 1 foot and parallel. If you look at the bus with the barricades, it's nice and parallel.
That's actually one of the most important, or that's just one of the important things that you need to notice right now.
Right there, nice
is
and
that
parallel.
he is parallel. His plane of the vehicle, his right side of the bus, is the same distance away from this front one, is the same distance away from the back one. That's why you have to look in your right flat mirror to be able to see that, to see the side of the bus, to see the edges of those stands, because it works best when you're parallel. I've seen some people where the front is in.
Right.
So now they're sort of at an angle, the back is out. So yeah, they may full off right, but they are losing space. Or they may have the front out, and now they're actually kind of sharper in two. So this is what we do when we drive out there on the roads. This is what we do for rodeo. You need to trust your mirrors. You need to rely on your mirrors, even though we're nervous. It can be done.
It can.
With practice. Like Doug said, you practice how many hours? Thousands of hours.
Thousands of hours, guys. I wanted to beat Antonio every time I met him. We had a good time at it, though.
Yeah. So there were times when he beat me. There were times, when I beat him. There were times when Tony Peregrina beat us. And there were times when we beat him.
Amen. But we always had fun.
We did have
Guys,
fun.
I want you to remember that if this isn't fun, it's not something we should do. You go and get as many points as you can. Make sure you're having a good time with it. If it's not fun, it makes it so you don't want to do it. Right here, if you look at that wheel, I'm adjusting it. I'm pulling it to the right a little bit. I wanted to get closer. The front wheel, I'm turning it just slightly right. Now I'm back to the left. Full lock. I'm looking right back here. I'm watching the bulge of that tire on that line right there. And it looks like you're going to hit, but you've got plenty of room. Full lock to the right. Bring it in nice and tight. Again, full lock left.
Just like when you were going through your behind the wheel training,
Yep.
your flat mirrors were pointed down a little bit more than normal. Because you needed to see the bottom of the right rear tire. That's what you need to do to make sure that you don't touch the rope, touch the ground reference. And then when it's time to leave the competition, put them back up a little bit.
Right. Now, if you notice right here in the front, I've got that fenderette was right against that line. That shows me my distance. This will show you a couple of things.
Right, so this is the view from the left side. He's already pretty much set up to full up right. So we just want to show you at what point you stop. At what point Doug stops.
So there's the outside of that barricade in the back. Right. There's the inside. I align it nice and parallel right along the edge of this bus.
Right, and that's the same thing that I went for as well. But of course, one of the things when you are going to compete is you do want to find the bus that turns the very best. I've had a couple buses where it turned really good. I actually had to go slightly past the barrier on the inside, but that was my main goal right there, to find it, to stop, and then of course for me to decide, okay, am I just going to use that and make final adjustments, or am I going to take it 6 inches past?
And he's correct on that. Every single bus you drive is going to be different. So sometimes it's really good to get the same bus every single time to compete in. All right, I'm right up against the inside barricade.
So you're watching what side right now?
I'm in the right. I'm in the right mirror right now.
Yeah, we are showing you the left side just so you can see what it looks like on this left side, but he is focusing on the right side. He's getting closer to something on the right side.
Right now, I'm in the right flat mirror looking at the bulge of the tire, making sure that I keep the bulge of the tire lined up on the rope. Okay, and again, you can't tell the distance. If you're looking in the left mirror, you can't tell the distance. That's why I look at the front.
Right.
Bus plus 6.
There's been many times when we just look, well, not we. Well, some people are actually looking in the wrong mirror. And because you're looking in the wrong mirror, you touch the rope, you hit the stand on the front or the back. But that's why you practice, so you can think about what side should I be watching.
And remember, 47 is better than 0. All right, so my mirror check is, again, I do the method using both hands.
Yeah, so that was just showing you the 5-count mirror check of that.
Perfect time.
And let's see, any final words about that parallel parking? I think we talked about everything.
I think we did. Again, guys, practice, making sure you do it the same every single time when you're practicing your event. We use the rodeo equipment for the state champion, or for the state trailer. You guys cannot use that. Make your equipment out of plastic. I use PVC to make my practice equipment, because when you hit PVC, it doesn't scratch the bus. So try and make your equipment out of PVC. If you need to, give me a holler. I'll let you know how to do it. All right, so our next one is going to be right turn. Our next event, right turn.
All right. You guys can all do this. It just takes practice. That's all it takes, is making sure you make the time to practice. And if you don't have someone that can help you, maybe talk to your state certified instructor. They can reach out to us.
They can.
We are willing to travel if you pay for everything for us to get there. I'm just kidding.
All right, now remember, this is a stop right turn. If you don't stop, you don't get any points. The most important thing is to get this first plate. If you get the start plate, you got guaranteed 25 points. All right, turn signal's on, mirror check was done. I'm moving up here to the stop right turn. Full complete stop. Now I come gently forward. I'm looking to make sure I get my 25 guaranteed points.
And just like the left turn, you look through the windshield, you find it, in the crossview mirror, you find it in the convex mirror, you find it in the flat mirror.
And your time starts when your your passenger side tire touches that plate, not when it's through, when it touches it. Here comes a full lock right. And now we're going to try for the recovery plate.
So he's finding it. He's looking for it.
That's when your time ends. When your time ends, and it's 20 seconds, your time ends when you come off the plate, not when you hit it, but when you come off the back side of the plate is where your time starts, or ends, excuse me. Again, turn signals on, mirror check is done. I'm right now coming up and I land my bus between this. This is 4 feet between this plate and the limit line is 4 feet. You get plenty of room to work with. Make sure you land it correctly.
Take a deep breath when you stop.
Amen.
It helps to calm
I
you
always
down.
did. I did my complete breath and full stop every single time. There's my 25. Full lock to the right.
So your front half of the bus, of course, is going to be further away. So keep in mind that you are steering the rear axle. It will eventually get there.
All right, here's an inside view. As I approach, I'm making sure that I'm making sure that I have my bus in gear, release my parking brake, doing my mirror check. Here comes my mirror check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn signals on. 2 hands on the steering wheel. Whoopsie.
Oh.
Won't let me slide this time.
Again, he's a pro. He's a champion. But
2 hands on the steering wheel, please. I make my full complete stop. I take a deep breath. And then I gently bring forward, watching in my right mirrors. I'm watching the convex, or I start in the cross view, convex, flat. You must stay in your seat. You cannot move your body out of the seat. Find my turn point, find my point of recognition, full lock to the right. Now I'm counter steering as I'm burping the throttle. I'm counter steering it and I'm bringing it back around. Full lock to the right, center, counter steer to the center and through the plate.
he was watching the whole entire right side throughout that whole event. There was no need for him to worry about the tail swing. There was no need for him to, look at the left side. So when you're doing rodeo, yeah, just go ahead and stay focused on the side that is the most important. When you are out there on the street, yeah, you do need to make the time to take a quick peek at your tail swing,
Right.
whether you're turning right, whether you are turning left. This is showing you that he is starting off at a certain distance. We know that when we drive out there on the street, we do start off at a certain distance, but there are some tiny streets out there where we may have to get a little bit closer.
Now remember, this distance between the plate and the rope is the same every single rodeo. It's always the same. I'm keeping myself parallel and again trying to absolutely make sure that I get my 25 points by getting the back wheel through the plate.
Yeah, just like we saw in the previous one, he was making fine-tuning adjustments until he got it.
Same thing when I make my hard lock to the right. As it comes around, I make my fine adjustments. You're going to see that it kind of goes over the plate and comes back.
Yeah.
I bring it back around and I make my adjustments and I accelerate right there. I accelerate through the plate.
It's not lost. I mean, you saw he went beyond it. That's not the time to give up. Do not give up. It is not over yet.
You can always counter steer out, pull yourself away. Takes a lot of practice and a lot of time. Again, here's your 25 points, making sure I'm watching it in the cross view, now to the convex. I'm adjusting in and out as I bring it forward. I'm adjusting to get myself dead center. Here comes the full lock.
He's waiting patiently. He's keeping it parallel until his turning point intersects with the ground reference imaginary line.
And that's exactly what you do when you're teaching it and when you're learning it. Here it comes, over and then back and correct and accelerate through the plate.
So this one, the time limit is
20 seconds.
20 seconds. So yeah, 20 seconds. When you are competing, it may seem like forever, but as we know, it is not. It is only 20 seconds.
Now, one of the things that you'll notice when I did left turn, I had a point of reference that I used. I do the same thing. I run that line on something inside that bus. And if you look, it stays right on that, right there on the, on that arm, on the grub rail there.
Yeah, it could be the top, it could be the little screw, it could be the bottom. It may be something else, but you've got to figure it out to decide what it is. The plate may look like that to you, or you may not even be able to see it.
Right.
Or you may not even be able to see the rope. But when you look in your mirrors, you'll be able to see, yep, I am at the correct distance. You've already passed with the front half of the bus, the plate. So you would have seen it go through there with your cross view mirror at the very minimum. Maybe you can see it already with your convex mirror as well. But
and we get to that. We actually will show you the view out of the convex and cross views.
Right. I actually did the same thing as Doug. I found a reference point somewhere on the bus that I could align with this rope. I just don't recall what it is, but
well, and some of the times I use the screws. I've used the screws on the side here. Everything, you can use everything. You can use the door. You can use anything. Do not mark your vehicle. Remember, if you put something on the vehicle and we find it, it's a disqualification. But practice finding the points of reference that work for you.
So this is just one of the views. As you're looking through the windshield, you'll see the plate. As you're looking through the driver door, you'll see the plate. You know, I don't think I was able to get it exactly to where Doug was, but you're going to see it through the windshield. You're going to see it through the little small glass. You're going to see it through the driver door.
And that's what I used. I used the door. I used the door frame for me. For this bus, for every bus, it's a din. Again, you got to adjust and learn how to make your bus work for you. But I used the edge of that door frame. When I saw yellow, I went. That was my point that I decided to go.
Right. So see, at this point, he is looking to the right. He is looking for the score plate, which of course you see right there. Here's another view. I don't know how it looks for you, but it's going to be coming out right there. And Doug, what point do you use?
I use right here on the door. And I'm going to show, there's going to be one more trick that I do that I'm going to be able to show you guys as we approach. I'm going to try and find the plate now. I'm going to take it straight out and I'm going to show you guys something. I'm not sure if all of you do it. Some of you may do it. Tony, you might have done it. As it moves forward.
Right. So as you saw right there, he stopped, you know, he took his deep breath, you know, he's thinking about everything. You can look through the windshield, look for the score plate, but don't just put that first, because your first priority is to get those first 25 points. One thing at a time, one step at a time.
Very good. All right, so as you start rolling, again, I'm staying in that flat mirror. I'm in the cross view mirror right there. I'm in the cross view. Now I'm in the convex. Now I'm in the flat mirror. Now, once I get my 25, now I start looking out the window right here.
Yep. He's looking for it now.
I'm looking for the plate, and when it hits the back side, now, did you see what I did there? I leaned forward. And I put my hand on the dash so I can make sure that my head's in the same spot every single time. That was something that I did. I don't know if others did, but that's something that I did.
Yeah, see that? I actually learned so much from Doug, you know, so if we ever competed against each other, I would have his secrets. I didn't tell him any of my secrets.
You didn't.
Just
You didn't.
I didn't.
I'm gonna beat him up for that.
But that is the next video, okay? But yeah, I think Doug is a great driver, great champion. I think, wow, he truly figured everything out. I did not lean forward. I just pressed my back up against the seat back, you know, had that slight bend in my arms, you know, found my turning point, and then bam. But that's what it takes, right? You know, if your goal is to be the best, or your goal is to get as many points as possible, then that's what you have to try to figure out, what works.
And again, I'm finding that plate. I'm looking out the door. Did you see it come in? I'm seeing that. Now I'm counter steering to the center, looking for it in my convex mirror, find it in my flat mirror, and accelerate through.
Yep. That was awesome.
Again, there it shows another view of the line intersecting on the barricade or on the handrail.
So that's kind of our ground reference, like what we would
Yep.
possibly use out there on the road.
To align the vehicle. My turn point is going to be the yellow plate or the ground, or actually my
If you look in your crossview mirror, it is already set up to go through the edge of the bus. It's set up.
It is. Now I'm in my cross view. Now I move to the convex and I adjust, pulling it right along the side of the bus. Then I move to my flat mirror, making sure I get my 25.
Once you get it,
once I get it, I look out the window. Now I look out the window, keeping myself nice and parallel.
Finding the point.
Find my ground reference, leaning forward.
Once it intersects from where he is seated, boom, he starts his full walk right. He finds it through the door, finds it in the cross view mirror.
Then to the convex.
And then the flat.
And then I take it over and then I pull back and I adjust. I pull it back across. Oh, there's Bob again. He's our mascot. Hope everybody likes Bob. He's my buddy.
All right.
All right.
Very good. So we know that it had a 20-second time limit. Time started right when your rear tire went through the first score plate. However you go through it, and it ends when your rear tire goes through that second score plate. However you go through it. So your goal is to practice. I mean, to be able to do this at an actual rodeo, you do need to practice. Whether it's 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, as many times as possible, the more you practice, the better you will get. And for both, for pretty much every single event here, Doug has complete control of the bus and the speed of the bus. Yes. You don't want to let the bus get away from you. You don't want the bus to be the one controlling what you need to do. You have to be in complete control. So that means your foot, most likely 95% of the time, is on the service brake pedal, covering the service brake pedal, controlling the speed. There just so happens to be that some of the events, if you stop after it started, you may lose points, but we will talk about that at a future meeting. But you want to be in complete control of the bus during the rodeo, as well as out there on the street, in your yard, everywhere.
Right. And guys, speed is the absolute key to this again. And I want to tell you guys that Antonio and I are masked because we're within our 6 feet, and our mandate at our school has that we have to wear masks still. So just to let you guys know, we're just following the rules here. So
yeah. What is our next event, Doug?
Our next event is going to be Offset Alley, and this one is my favorite event of all events there are. I love Offset Alley. It's very difficult, but once you learn it, once you get the secrets, once you get the plan, it's easy to take care of and easy to do. All right.
There we go.
There we go.
Sharing the screen. We have it. Yeah, this one's fun. This one was fun for me. Go ahead, Doug.
All right. So as I approach, as I'm going to be going to the right, myself, when I do this, I set myself up to the right. I stay as close as I can to the right side if I'm going to the right side. In this, you can see that we're turning to the right. By that, I mean that the event is set up as a right side rodeo offset alley. We're going to bring it to the right. Now we're going to counter steer to center, bringing the bus nice and straight. Full lock right again. taking the bus straight out. What? Oh,
Yeah, this is one of those, yeah, it's fun, but just going to keep in mind that, anytime you full lock left or you full lock right, your bus wants to compensate. It's like, hey, this person needs power steering. I'm going to accelerate a little bit, I'm going to increase the RPM. So it will want to speed up on you. And that's when you have to give it a little bit more service brake so you can control it.
again, guys, the wind was howling. If you look at the trees, the wind was howling and we could not keep the bear.
It was blowing so hard that there are no leaves anymore.
It was howling.
Yeah. So this is just a view from the front, from the inside. We will have several other views. This is one of our longer videos, but just so you kind of get to see, well, here's what it looks like. Look how far over to the right side he's going, or the bus is going.
Now, again, when I come over here, I see a lot of drivers that do they zigzag in and out of the flag tips. I'm not one that does that. I've seen it. It works for some people. It doesn't work for me. What I found is everything I put in, I wind up having to take out, and my hands aren't that fast. So I don't. I just settle up with being as close as I can to the flag tips with the nose of the bus, and I keep it as straight and smooth as I can. I do some baby small corrections, and I call them baby corrections, but I baby correct back and forth. I just turn the steering wheel a little left, a little right, little left, little right, and I try and stay as tight to those barricades to those flags as I can.
Yeah, I am one of those people that takes that little dive in just to get that extra 1 inch.
Now I start to the right if I'm going right. I start to the left if I'm going left. And on this one, I believe we're going left. So we're going to full lock left.
Right. So this is just to show you what he's doing, where he's looking. I mean, he is
in the
looking
left
at
mirror.
the left side.
And I'm trying to pivot that back tire around that last flag. Now I'm looking over here. I'm going to counter steer, look right, look left. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking out the front window. Now I'm looking in the crossview mirror to make sure I'm trying to drag it back and forth. I'm keeping it nice and tight. Look right, back left, back right. Now I'm counter steering to the right, setting myself up nice and straight. Full lock right, pivot around, full lock left, bringing the front end around, and now I'm going to go back towards the flags, gentle and smooth. There's my baby corrections, keeping it as tight as I can. Looking left to make sure. Now I'm looking at that left flag to try and get it around that.
Yeah,
And
this
through.
is precision driving. You saw all the little corrections he needed to make, and he based those corrections based on what the mirrors were showing him.
All right, and here's what I'm talking about. I try and keep the bus parallel and within about 6 inches of the flag tips.
I would go for 3 inches. Just because.
Just because.
Just to be better than Doug.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just kidding.
I know you are.
So yes, it is important to be parallel because that does make it easier. So that's what that is showing with the plane of the bus, the side of the bus. Here's another view.
Your time starts, by the way, this is a timed event. You have 2 minutes. Your time starts when your front bumper intersects that front barrier. Staying hard to the left on the side there. And then you can see what I'm going to do here, and I believe it continues on and shows this. This back tire, I start to turn when the back tire gets right here. I start to gently turn, but then I pivot around this one. I'm full locked right there, and I pivot right around that flag tip.
Yeah, I did not notice that. But yeah, I did see that you were beginning to turn a bit sooner than I would.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to make sure that my left rear tire, by the time my steering wheel was full lock left, this is where it it needed to be. So like the middle of the tire needed to be here, and my steering wheel needed to be full lock left by that point.
Right.
And it's probably, it probably was the same thing as Doug, because I was starting my turn sooner because I know I needed to go 2.5 turns full lock left so that by the time I got there, it would be full lock left.
Now, if you see more than a foot right here between this flag tip and your bus, your tail swing's taking the other flags out. Just to let you know. I looked over here, I knew that if I had this pivoted and I had less than a foot of space right here, I knew that my tail swing was not going to hit. But you need to look over to the right side and watch your tail swing.
Right. And that's the purpose of being so close to the side that you're going to be turning first, so that your tail swing does not hit the opposite side.
Right. Now, see, I'm making a full lock to the right now because we have a left side or a right side. So the back end's the bus coming around. Here it is again from another view.
Same thing. You see, he's parallel. He's looking for his left rear tire.
I start to
You
turn
see,
right there.
yeah, you know, he's already turning now. By the
Pivot.
time he gets there, bam, it is full lock left. Look how far over the front left corner has to go to the left before he starts the full lock right.
And again, I'm running right along. If you notice, it's just perfect and parallel. It's running right along those flag tips.
That's what he's focusing on first. And then
I counter steer.
Now he's looking at the right side to try to put the right side.
Here's your tail swing.
There's a tail swing. You see, if you do it right, you don't even have to worry. You don't even have to look.
Again, I pivot around that. Here comes the other side. You got to straighten yourself up in the end or you're going to hit this side. Counter steer to center.
Yeah.
And away I go.
Fabulous.
There's another couple of views on this one.
You'll just see how close he is coming.
There's the parallel and within about 6 inches.
Some buses have a thicker tire guard.
You got to watch that.
So you do have to watch that because they could hit the flag tips. You see him turning,
Pivoted
and then
right around.
Bam.
And if you look out this, I think we have another view where it's going to bring the nose of the bus across the front of the flag tips. Again, I keep that bus as close to those flag tips as I can. See how close we're here? Right there.
Yep.
Now I pivot. I pivot on the other side. Full lock right. Full lock right. And then you'll see the flag tips on this side again.
So your focus right now is going to be the right front corner.
I'm going to be the right front corner, absolutely. Now I'm counter steering, and I'm going to gently bring it on the other side. Again, I just barely move that tire, barely counter steer, and I'm looking left now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that flag tip because that's the only one that matters. Counter steer to center and bring it on through. Time stops when your rear bumper exits the entire event. So don't stop. I want you guys to make sure you give it at least 10 feet. Look at this is the right side, the distance between it. I'm real uptight to the left side. I've got a foot over here for my tail swing. Make sure you don't stop in the event. I've seen a lot of people do that and you lose all your points because you didn't clear the event. You can see the tail swing clears it. We're going to look on this flags. I'm looking to the right side now and I'm going to pivot around this flags again. Right here. I'm going to pivot around the first one. Square it up in the second one. Look at that 6 inches right there between the flag tips and the side of the bus. And then I'm going to pivot around that last flag. There we go, keeping it nice and tight.
Watching both sides.
Yeah, I'm watching both sides. I'm looking at the first flag and the last flag. The tips of them, I'm looking at those. This is going to show you how far over that you have to go. If you look at the front of the bus, as it comes over the front, it goes way beyond the flag tips there. It's
Right.
way out.
Yeah. So I actually had to take my bus a little bit past it. But if you pretty much take it to at least this point or slightly before it, you should be fine. Again, it depends if you have a really good turning bus.
Right.
If you don't have a really good turning bus, yeah, it's going to make it that much more difficult for you, but it's still going to be fun. And that's the most important thing. It's going to be fun. You're going to learn. You're going to get better. You're going to see lots of people. You're going to party, have food, buy gifts. You're going to do it all.
It is the most fun I've ever had at some of those rodeo events. And the people I've met, I have family members that I call family members. See how close I was to that?
Yeah.
That's a tail swing. I have people I call family members that are just my friends that I've met through rodeo. Uh-oh, what we got on the screen there?
Did someone write on the screen?
Somebody wrote, it must be Tony.
No writing on the screen, please. I don't think that was us. But anyways, here is another view of the right side as it's going through, focusing on the left side first. And then by what point, Doug, do you start looking at the right side?
Soon as my front, the nose of my bus passes the very last flag, as soon as I'm in it, I'm looking to the right. I'm in this right mirror right now.
Right.
And I'm watching this. I'm trying now to bring the bus within 6 inches of these of the flag tips and parallel. I'm counter steering right and I'm bringing it across and I want 6 inches. Right here. See, I'm going to pivot again. The same pivot I did on that first one, I'm going to pivot right there. That flag tip, I'm making sure I'm turning it right as it gets to the front of that tire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pivoting right around that flag tip and that's where I make my move. Now I'm focused right here in the front. I'm looking right here in the front. That's all I'm looking at now. I'm going to bring this, and as soon as I get that flag tip to the first one there, that's when I look to the left. As soon as I clear this first flag, I watch the left side and I keep the bus 1 inch away, 1 inch away from this flag tip. All right, that's Offset Alley.
What time is it? All right. Perfect.
Got 10:15. We're cruising right along.
Are we still sharing or did we stop?
I don't know. I got people that are seeing me watching.
One more to go.
Thank goodness. All right. Double backing crossover.
Let's get that started for you. Let's make it full size.
You will hear it called Blixo. Backline double crossover. But what it is the stop line. You have to stop the front of the bus within 2 inches of the front. But remember, don't mess with Sasquatch. If you pull yourself up to the front and you go over the line, you don't get to go. As you're pulling yourself forward and you touch the line, you don't get to go. So make sure that you don't touch the lines. You want to make sure that you get the opportunity to get points.
So the head judge, the head coordinator, they actually decide, are you going to start off on the right side or are you going to start off on the left side? So when you practice, you have to practice from both sides.
Now I use the same thing. I use the bulge of the tire. I ran it right on the line. When you're using a big painted line like this, which sometimes when we do rodeo, we get the big painted lines, I use the bulge of the tire on the line.
Yeah, same here. I actually, as I enter, I'm probably about one foot away.
Me too.
By the time I'm about halfway through, that's when I'm starting to get closer to that rope. And it will be a rope, not a line.
Now you can stop on approach. And I've had the judge wanting to beat me because I'm taking too much time. Guys, take your time getting in here. You're more than welcome to take your time. Just don't take too much time. I'm just kidding. All right, I'm going to gently move forward. I'm moving forward. And right now I'm going to counter steer to the left, and I'm going to bring the front of the bus in to get myself within the 3 inches that I need.
Right. So once he's done stopping and he sets his parking brake, he will be measured. So the front will be measured, the side will be measured.
This front is right here. This is the distance that they measure. You have 2 inches. Anything 0 to 2 inches is a 0-point deduction. But if your bumper, when they measure it, goes over the line, you do not get to go.
And then they're going to measure from the plane of the bus, on the side.
Remember, we do not measure from the tires now. We measure from the side of the bus. So they're going to measure from the side of the bus right there.
For sure, your tires cannot be touching the rope.
You cannot touch the rope.
All right, so he's going to begin. Once they take their measurements, make a note of it. They're going to say, all right.
Go ahead, toot my horn and begin backing. Remember, any backing maneuver you make, you have to sound your horn. There is no time limit on this event, but your bus has to get completely over. If you don't get your bus completely over the line, it's a disqualification. You got to get completely over the line.
This is just like the sharp backing crossover when you were being trained.
Minimize it?
Yeah. All right. So his bus has to go completely over to the left side, and then it has to get back over to the right side.
Double backing crossover.
And you have how many feet?
You have 120 feet. You have three bus lengths.
120 feet. We don't have a stand back there, but there will
There's
be
a
a
line.
stand back there. If you hit it, it took you too long to get it straightened out.
All right, and you should come up. There is not a whole lot of room to play, so I myself try my best to stop right there. But if I have to correct, I can. If you stop in the once you begun backing, if you stop, there are demerits, 25 demerits for backing or for each incident of backing.
And that's what it looked like.
Stopping, excuse me.
When he stopped, he probably had less than a foot left.
I did. On that one, I did.
So when you practice and you finish it, you should already have that measurement, on the ground, whether it's just a line or whether it is an actual stand. But as you practice, you want to make sure that you are stopping within that 120-foot distance if it is a 40-foot long bus. So this is the view from the front.
On approach. Again, you can stop, and I use my cross view mirrors to note the line in the front. I actually use the left side cross view mirror.
Yeah. So you use which cross view mirror?
The left.
Yeah. So that one showed the view from the right side. And yeah, you do get to decide whether it is the right side. You can see the line better, or is it the left side? Or, maybe it is the right side when you're on the opposite side.
Now, in my right flat mirror, when I'm doing a right side, I have a point of reference on the bus that when the line intersects that point, I full lock back the other direction. And it takes me right over the line, and I cover it by a foot. That is something that I do. I have a point of reference on both sides of the bus.
That's a trick.
Did you do that?
Of course.
Okay.
But we will see some more views so we can talk about what he just said in case anybody did not understand. Like what do you mean?
What you talking about, point of reference?
But yeah.
And again, guys, can't mark your vehicles.
He went over the line to the right side, full lock right to get back over to the left side, checking his mirrors on the left side, keeping in the back of his mind, I have a rear stand back there that I do not want to hit. But my goal right now is to end up parallel and as close as possible. So this is the view from the rear, of course. He is starting off full up left. Now he's looking in which mirror?
I'm in my right mirror.
And
And
then
when the
you
line-
said you are looking for what?
I'm looking, let me borrow the cursor, right there. I'm looking at the line on the ground and the mirror, and there is a point of reference along the bus that intersects the line.
Right. So, okay. It is like the sharp backing crossover where, you know, we asked you, okay, what was the distance between your right rear tire and the ground reference? That's one of the things that you can use. Look, we all see things differently. We all process things differently. What made it easier for both Doug and I is to find an actual point on the bus without leaving a mark or without placing a mark. But it can be done again also
just using the distance.
By just figuring out what is that distance. Is it 6 feet? Is it 10 feet? Hey, if it's 10 feet, well, your rear bumper is 10 feet away from that, maybe. Where was that bumper in relation to that ground reference? Was it right above? You know, maybe yes, you know, maybe no, but yes. It is just like the sharp backing crossover. What was the distance? He went full lock right because he is hoping that him doing that will actually get him over to the other side. If not, he's going to make a small little correction like he did. Went back full lock right because now the whole entire bus made it over.
And if you clear by more than a foot or so, you're a little too far and you're going to have a tough time getting back.
Right.
You want to try and keep it within a foot of the ground reference. We want a foot of the line, the foot of the ground reference. Your vehicle reference and your ground reference should clear by no more than about a foot.
Right. So you see right now, he's already in the full lock left position.
Because I'm doing a gradual now. My second recovery when I do this is usually a gradual.
You see, he didn't tell me that when we were recording. So yeah, you know, I was going to say too, yeah, when it was time for me to recover, I would do it slightly different, just like Doug as well, because I wanted to ensure I was going to end up as close as possible. But yeah, Doug has his point, you know, the same thing. You can use the left rear tire. What was that distance? What was that point that is going to let you know when to full lock left?
And it is
So
a
now,
sharp
like-
backing crossovers when I started, but then you'll see how I counter steer out of it.
Right. So let's watch his front steering wheel since he already gave away a secret. Wow, I need to be writing this stuff down.
I counter steer out and I'm looking for the bulge of the tire. I'm trying to bring the bulge of the tire right on the inside of the line, counter steering, and then I bring it over. Once I get it there, I stop. Then I counter steer to the center. I don't turn my steering wheel back. I just stop and turn it at the last second. All right, double back crossover, all done.
That was it with that. So what are some final tips that you can give our attendees regarding all of these seven maneuvers?
Practice. Take your time. Have fun. Those are my points. I always had fun. I made sure that I had fun every time I went to a rodeo. Talk to the people that are there. Get to know people. Enjoy the day is everything I can give to you. It is a stressful day for some people. Make it as fun as you can make it possibly. And again, practice, practice, practice. I practiced every day. I took one event on and I practiced every single day.
Right. If you go to the website, you will find this booklet. We have all eight score sheets actually in there.
Because there is that other one.
As you practice, or actually before you practice, hey, you know, if you want to start now, you know, you might as well start looking at the score sheets because you might be surprised at what it says in there. It may say if you stop, you lose points, you know, for this event, or maybe if you stop on a different one, you don't lose points, but you do have to know where can I lose points. We have taught you everything. We have shown you what it takes to get in to each of the events, what it takes to do each of the events, but you still have to do the rest, right? You know, it's not just practicing. It's also reviewing all of the information, especially on the score sheet. If there is something on the score sheet that you do, you could lose points. You may lose points, or if it's not on the score sheet, then it doesn't exist. You cannot lose points for something that is not on there.
Right.
Okay. So just like Doug said, practice. I mean, it's barely May. I know I would start to practice
The
probably.
day after the championships.
Well, no, I would actually wait till January.
Okay.
You know, since I know, you know, special needs rodeos sometimes occur in February, or some of the regular rodeos, you know, begin in February. But yes, technically, once I finish with the state, Doug's kind of right. You know, I would decide, am I going to compete next year or not? But I would plan in my head, here's what I'm going to do. When is it that I do want to start to practice? You know, or maybe I didn't do so well at the state. It's like, well, I need to start working on that because I blew it, you know. But
Now, I
for
want to
sure,
mention one
practice.
more thing.
Go ahead. We got plenty of time.
When you do become interested in rodeo and you get your teams together and you start doing that kind of stuff, there is an honor called Best Represented. When you go to the Southern and Northern sectionals, when you win Best Represented, that means your team was it. Your scores were up high, your buses looked great, your team looked great, you had judges. It has a criteria, and winning that is one of the most amazing honors that I have ever been involved with the team that I won from Snowline. We got that honor a couple of times. That is one of the most proud moments that I ever had. So if you are going to get into rodeo, find a way to get into the Best Represented. That is an important part of rodeo.
Right.
Once you get into rodeo and you win at the Southern or Northern sectionals and you go on to the state championships, we throw a couple of curveballs at you, getting you prepared to go to the international competition. Annually, there is an international competition that once you win at the state level, you then qualify to go to the international level. Antonio and I have both gone to the international competition a couple of times, and that is another thing that we may be presenting one of these days, is how to do the international competition, because there's different things at that also.
Yeah.
Do we have any way to answer questions, or?
Yeah, so that's next.
Okay.
So I just want to mention Tony is a former state champion. Doug's a state champion. I'm a former state champion. John Kane is a former state champion, as well as an international school bus rodeo competition champion. I did the same thing too. I was also successful at the international school bus rodeo. So it is great to know that we have some people that are still a part of CASTO, and we care about rodeo, and we want it to be successful. We want you to think of it as fun. I do see something on there in the chat box that does say rodeo is fun. So it is fun. It can be fun. If it's not fun, then of course don't even do it. But I mean, hey, at least talk to someone, right? Because we might be able to persuade you to believe that it is fun. It could be maybe because you don't know what to do, but that's kind of one of the purpose of this video is to show you how to do it, you know. And again, we will do more.
And if you just want to show up and judge, we always need judges.
Right.
You don't have to have any experience. We need judges too. So there's always that too.
Right.
It's one of the most, rodeo makes good drivers better. And I always say that. It makes good drivers better. But I also tell you this one thing. If you're going to hit something, hit it with gusto. When you hit one of the barriers out there, hit them with gusto. That's what I've always taught everybody. And then smile and open the door and say, whoops, better luck next time. Guys, remember, we are competing against other drivers, and we're competing for trophies. It's not for millions of dollars. So enjoy what you do. Treat your judges with dignity. Treat your judges with respect. They're out there on their own, not getting paid for any of it. they are doing it out of gratitude for you. If we didn't have the judges, we couldn't do this. So again, it is a team effort.
All right. As far as questions, I've been skimming through there. I've only seen 2 so far. Of course, I'm probably only about 30% through. I do see that I believe Tony has actually answered a couple about 2 of them actually don't even pertain to what we said, but I will mention it again. So this YouTube recording, or it is being recorded, so it should be sent out. A link should be sent out so you can review to see who was on it. I don't know if Tony can actually provide a roster list, but hey, we will try our best. Someone asked about TO one time. I know we put that in the email. It is up to the state certified instructor responsible for you. So whatever they decide is what you will get. Tony, do you know of any other questions? I am thankful. You know, I do want to thank everybody for saying good morning. It does seem like we are all having a good time, and it is almost over.
I hope everybody enjoyed this. The turnout has been amazing, and I want to thank each and every one of you for taking your 2.5 hours of time out in the morning to do this. It is an honor to me and my cohort here to have done this for you guys, and it's really neat to see almost 200 people that have joined us. This is amazing. I never thought it would be this big. Great time. So
Right.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I did see that someone asked where can you find this booklet. If you go to castoways.com, castoways.com. I don't know, Tony, if you want to put that in the chat box, castoways.com. You will be able to find this booklet there, as well as we get closer to rodeo season, we will probably have some more information on there. Like I believe right now you may have the rodeo setup guide is there as well. Tony Peregrina, is there any questions on YouTube? Or is everybody just like nice and happy?
There are no questions on YouTube. There is, hold on, I think I'm back video aware. All right, there is, yeah, just thank you. They really enjoyed it, and it was a great tool. And thank you on YouTube. Also,
Well, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. And the email is, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the chat. It's actually castaways.org.
Oh yeah, .org. That is cool.
And it's.
I want to also send a special thank you out to Apple Valley Unified for letting us do this. My boss let us film all this on property, and it was very nice of them. So I want to publicly thank my boss, Matt Schulenberg, and Apple Valley Unified School District, and Bob.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And,
I think
and
just
a reminder that this presentation is going to be available on the YouTube channel. So you do have the link of that. You should have received that link. We're going to put it on our website. If you go to Rodeos, there'll be a link there so that you can check it out. And if you have any questions or concerns, there's a lot of people in our committee that would be loving and willing to answer your questions. If you don't want to put your questions up right now, we still have about 11 minutes left. So although they said they weren't going to give you any secrets, they were giving you a lot of secrets. They did really good at masking it. And yeah, so if you have any questions, I know that I did see some people that were chatting and saying that, during the right turn, I would have never thought that I would use my handrail as a point of reference on the vehicle. Ladies and gentlemen, it is legal to cheat, to use anything that you can. Using something on the bus actually allows you to be consistent every single time. And like the two gentlemen said, if you set your seat exactly the same way, forward, back, up, or down, you'll see that the champions actually measure to make sure that it is exactly the same as when I practice. Your mirrors, there was a question about mirrors in regards to adjusting them. Yeah, you're going to adjust them, not like you adjust them to see when driving down the street, because you have to lower that flat mirror so that you can actually see the tire touching the ground, and so low where I see the body of the bus, and I can also even see my turn signal on the sides on both the right side and the left side. The reason for that is because you're going to use it for offset alley, to see those flags on the side. You're going to use it to pick up the plates when making right turns and left turns. So yeah, you're going to set those mirrors up almost completely different than what you would do when driving the vehicle out on the roadway.
Right.
So always remember that everything that you can do to stay consistent is going to create perfection. And that's pretty much all I can say. I think you guys did an outstanding job presenting. I was going back and forth with the chat and letting people in and out. So as you all know, when we have virtual programs, depending on your bandwidth, you might get kicked out. Video might be a little bit too much. So it makes it a little bit difficult to keep things constant and consistent for the presentation, but it's recorded. So if you missed anything, you can always go back and check it out. Write your questions, ask the champions. You've got, like I said, a chair and a co-chair and specialists that are responsible for each event that know so much. And I am telling you right now, because they don't compete anymore, they are willing to give it all up. I'm telling you right now, we will give you everything and anything you want so that you can win it all if you want it. There's absolutely no gender, no age, no nothing. There's no advantage other than knowledge, skill, and determination and want to do it. I can say this, the people that you see that presented today, the people that you'll see as specialists, these are leaders in the industry that started just like a lot of us did as a bus driver. And then we became trainers and supervisors and managers and directors. And then hopefully one of these days, one of us will be the new president of the United States. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. I was looking at your faces and you were smiling and you were like, wow. So it was so we really appreciate that. And with that, back to the gentleman. If nobody has any questions, we still have 7 minutes left.
Yeah, no, I just want to take the time to, thank everybody that is here. I know there's some names that I do not recognize, but yes, thank you for being here, on your day off, watching this. It was fun putting this all together. And yeah, like Tony said, we will be giving you everything because there's no need for us to keep it.
There was a good question in there. I wanted to address this also. Guys, yes, you do have to participate in every one of the events. You can't pick your favorite and just do that one. It is 500 points that you start with, and as you make mistakes or further away from the point or further away from things, you lose your points. And you can lose up to 50 points per each event, plus 75 points for the 2 written tests that we didn't go over. There are 2 written tests at every single rodeo for a total score of 500 total points. That's how it works, and you got to do it all. But let me tell you, when you do it, you have a good time. And yes, the people that judge the events at the Southern and Northern sectionals and state championships, they are leaders of the industry, and They're who you need to get to know. If you want to make, if you want to do something in this industry and go places, get to know these people. They're there to help you, as am I, as am Antonio. We are here to help you compete, to get better, and be a champion.
Also,
Yes.
let's see. Yeah, Irene Salazar, looks like you have your hand up. You want to ask a question? Irene Salazar, hit the unmute button. Matter of fact, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Just send you a little, there you go.
No, I didn't. I wasn't asking. I was just saying thank you for everything you all have done. This is my first rodeo, and I just it was very informative, and I'm thankful that we have these things. But I am a special needs bus driver, and I would like to see more in that area as well.
That could be our next one, Irene.
Yeah, that is a very good suggestion. That is true. I did try at one rodeo. I tried a small special needs bus. So I could tell you right now, I know it is different. Doug knows it is completely different, and we do not mind. We will figure everything out for you and tell you exactly what you need to do to be able to do that. But you're right. That is we don't want to just focus on the big bus. We want to focus on it all.
We will present special needs in the near future. Watch for this again. We're going to probably do one in February to get everybody round up, ready to go for the rodeo season. Rodeo season begins at the end of February usually, where we all start competing. Look at your local chapters, compete in the local rodeos. That's where you warm yourself up to then compete at the Southern Sectionals. Guys, rodeo is a good thing that makes you a better driver.
Absolutely. And the state championship would actually normally occur this weekend.
I've been doing this for almost 30 years, so I'm very into this.
Well, very good. And yes, the state champions will be next, or usually on Memorial Weekend. That gives a travel day for everybody. So remember, next year, plan to have Memorial Weekend open as a rodeo weekend up in Sacramento. We compete up at Galt Marketplace in Sacramento on Memorial Weekend for that. The Southern Sectionals are usually either the weekend prior to or the weekend before that. So the last 3 weeks of May are usually rodeo weekends for us. So, but this would be Southern Sectionals weekend.
Does Frank Zapata have a question? I see a hand mark there. Oh, there he is.
There's Frank. Frank.
Hey, Tony. How you doing? Everybody, thank you, Doug. Antonio.
Welcome.
This is awesome. I hope you guys do this again. It's very informative. That's I participate every year. But I want to put out that anybody interested in rodeo, I'll be glad to help a tutor or I'm the only 40-foot bus driver in Santa Clara area. I cannot get anybody to join. If you're interested in it, get a hold of me and I'll be glad to. I would like to get a team together so I can stop Fresno Unified School District from coming to my district, taking the trophies every year. And yeah, they're a really great team. They're like family to me. But I would like to get a team going somewhere in the Santa Clara area. Anybody needs help, I would be glad to help and practice with you at your yard or my yard, whatever, however. You can share each other's information, okay? So yeah, right. Just get a hold of me. I'm a driver for Franklin McKinley School District. Just get a hold of me there okay? Thanks, Tony.
Okay. All right, perfect. We are out of time, Tony. Take it away from us. We say thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, everybody. Let's see you guys next year at Rodeo.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. And again, this will be available online on YouTube. Have a great weekend. Be safe and participate in rodeos. Believe me, it's going to make you a better driver, a better person, an excellent leader, and we look forward to having you at all of our events. Take care and have a great weekend.
All right.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Guy.
Thank you. Have a good.
So much. That was amazing.
Hi, Doug.
Have a good weekend.
Steven, time to get the team together. Time to get the band back together.